one of the most shocking investigations by the psychics. Why did the ghost of an Egyptian pharaoh come from the beyond? Don't miss out. Unveiling the horrifying secret of ancient Egypt will save a young mother's life. Welcome to Psychic Investigations. There are only true and astonishing stories here. People who call themselves clairvoyants investigate resonant criminal cases and incredible paranormal phenomena. This investigation started with a letter from Nina Roshtash, a Ukrainian woman from the Kiev region, with a plea for help. She claimed that she was being hunted by the ghost of a man who killed himself right in front of her.
Right in front of my eyes, the man fell from the 9th floor. I was in the kitchen when I heard shouts from the window in broad daylight.
Nina ran outside and realized the voices were coming from the upper floors of the building. When she looked up, she was stunned. Her neighbor was standing on the windowsill.
He started climbing out the window. The shouts were coming from his wife and mother, who were begging him not to do it.
But a moment later, the man ended up on the ground right at her feet.
There was a massive thud when he hit the ground. Of course, I got terribly scared. I called an ambulance. They came and confirmed his death.
Nina waited for the medics with the man's family, after which she returned home. She wanted to take a shower to recover from the stress. However, upon entering her apartment, she saw a ghost, seemingly frozen in the air.
A white figure. I got terrified.
Nina first thought that due to the stress, she was just seeing that. But the next day, the visitor from the beyond appeared at her home again.
It felt like someone was breathing down my neck.
That night, she had a terrible dream of her 6-year-old son, Ilya, jump out of the window, just like her upstairs neighbor who committed suicide.
As he was falling, he yelled, "Mom!" But I couldn't do anything.
Nina woke up in a panic and ran to her son's room, and there, another shock awaited her. Ilya wasn't breathing.
We called an ambulance. He was all bluish. He only inhaled, but didn't exhale.
Luckily, the doctors revived the boy. However, they couldn't determine the exact cause of the attack. Nina, however, is convinced that it was the spirit of her neighbor that attacked her son.
I can't sleep. I feel this terrible anxiety all the time.
Nina has 3 children. Her husband works abroad, so Nina often stays alone with the kids. She is terribly afraid that the ghost will come back. And it did happen again. But this time, the ghost attacked.
It felt like someone pushed me really hard.
Nina fell and lost consciousness.
How could I fly halfway down the corridor and hit my head on the radiator?
Only by a miracle did the young mother survive.
I can't sleep at night because I feel like if I fall asleep, I won't wake up again.
Famous psychics Hayal Alekperov and Zhana Shulakova volunteered to help Nina.
Jana, on my way here, I asked my djinns why Nina's life is in danger. And they said it's all about a woman who was stabbed to death. She must kill.
And I saw a man with a knife in his heart. Roses in flames and a woman with her face cut.
How do these strange visions of the psychics relate to Nina and her neighbor who committed suicide?
That's not all. Last night, I returned from Egypt, where I helped a family from Cairo, and something happened to me there. The night before my return flight, I saw the spirit of a young man in ancient clothing. He said his name was Tutankhamun, and that he was a pharaoh of Egypt. I couldn't believe it myself. What made him come?
What did he want from you?
Tutankhamun told me, "Find her."
Find who?
I don't know. He disappeared as suddenly as he appeared.
An hour later, the psychics are at Nina's.
Hello.
I feel like I won't be here much longer.
We're here to help. May I take your hands? I had a vision, a woman's eyes reflected in the blade of a knife. The woman from my vision is somehow connected to the fact that you might die.
From what I feel, Nina has already buried people who were close to her. and all those deaths were strange. I see you standing by a coffin. A woman lies in it. I hear your words. How will I live without you? Did you lose your mother?
I miss her terribly.
The mother, just like her daughter, was named Nina. A few years ago, she had a heart attack. She wasn't even 40.
First Grandpa died, then Dad.
Your father's death, like your mother's and grandfather's, was also related to the heart.
Yes.
Nina's mother saw the same white silhouette before her death that is now haunting her daughter. Your relatives died before you witnessed your neighbor's suicide.
Yes.
The book is telling me Kabil and Habel. It's like Cain and Abel from the Bible, a story of fratricide. But just as I was trying to tune in to understand everything, a spirit appeared next to us.
Khayal, what is it?
What happened next left everyone speechless. Right before our eyes, a huge tree fell on a transformer box and snapped the power line.
When I saw it, I was shocked.
We got so scared. Luckily, nobody was killed.
As soon as I approached that place, I saw the spirit of Tutankhamun.
The Azerbaijani psychic orders everyone to stay away from the tree.
Jana, this is the spirit of the Egyptian Pharaoh,
I'm scared.
the spirit of Tutankhamun.
What does this have to do with me?
I don't know. Most likely it's got nothing to do with you.
It is known that Tutankhamun died of malaria at the age of just 19. But why did the pharaoh's spirit come to the psychic?
Tutankhamun is telling me to find the woman he loves. But where should I look for her and why?
According to historical records, the pharaoh was married to a girl named Ankhesenamon.
When a pharaoh died, his family was buried with him. However, Ankhesenamon's body wasn't found in Tutankhamun's tomb.
No one still knows what happened and where the body of the famous pharaoh's young wife had gone.
Tutankhamun's spirit told me he wouldn't leave me alone and distracted me from the investigation. I was afraid that because of him, I wouldn't be able to help Nina. But I couldn't figure out where to look for his wife. The spirit says she's in our world.
Maybe it's about some kind of reincarnation?
Where could Tutankhamun's wife be?
I need to tune in. For this, we needed the nearest cemetery and an unmarked grave.
Let's go.
To find out where to look for Tutankhamun's wife, so his spirit wouldn't interfere with the investigation, the psychics go to the cemetery to perform an ancient ritual.
Look, a grave. It's unmarked. We can work here. The spirit is nearby.
I'm scared. Again, this feeling of someone breathing down my neck.
It's Tutankhamun's spirit again. I hear his words. You must find her. Find my woman.
She's dead, and she's kept somewhere.
I sense that someone has bound the soul of the pharaoh's wife with magic. And I have a feeling that something connects you, Nina, and Tutankhamun.
I was shocked by what Khayal told me. I got very scared. I didn't know how this had to do with me.
I was shocked. My jinn said, the soul of the pharaoh's wife is bound to the world of the living by Tutankhamun's killer.
What is the Azerbaijani psychic talking about? Scientists believe that the young pharaoh died of malaria, which was an incurable disease at the time.
From what I feel, the ruler of ancient Egypt was killed by magic. And it was done by a man in love with his wife. The man decided to destroy all of Ankhesenamon's loved ones and marry her. And from what I sense, he succeeded.
It is known that Tutankhamun's wife was supposedly married twice. After the pharaoh's death, she married his advisor named Ai.
From ancient Egyptian manuscripts, It is known that I was not only Tutankhamun's advisor, but also his chief priest. At that time, people believed that priests were those who possessed magical knowledge or could predict the future.
There are lots of films about the love between the priest and the queen. But after the second wedding, the woman disappeared without a trace.
It was a deadly love triangle. I saw a vision of the Pharaoh's wife screaming, "I will never be with you. I long for death to reunite with my family." And the next moment, the priest killed her with a knife. He bound her soul to a place with a ritual so that she couldn't reunite with her family even in the afterlife. Wait, was there a love triangle in your family? That's why you are doomed to die, Nina.
Was there really a love triangle in your family?
Mom, Dad, and Dad's brother.
Nina's uncle, Misha, fell in love with his older brother's wife at first sight.
Uncle Misha didn't think Dad was the best match for Mom. He promised him that sooner or later, he would do everything to make Mom be with him.
Suddenly, I had a vision. Fire. Something like flowers. And hands holding knives. It all looked like some strange ritual. But I couldn't imagine that the family was hiding a terrible secret of murder because of love.
The spirit of a dead woman is hunting your family. She's holding 2 knives in her hands. I sense that the spirit of the woman killer was bound to this family through a ritual. And the reason for this was a passionate feeling of love. My jinns are telling me that the ritual was performed by someone from your family.
That person had something to do with magic.
Magic? In my family?
Well, yes, apparently.
I don't know. But my father was a gypsy. Could it be someone from his side?
I need to understand if your uncle resorted to magic to win his brother's wife.
Do you have his photo?
Only Mom's. I have it at home.
Can we go and see it?
Yes, of course.
The clairvoyants tune in to the energy of Nina's mom through the photo.
I see her. She says, "I keep coming to you."
I see her in my dreams every night.
She's standing behind your right shoulder.
I miss you so much.
As soon as I touched the photo, I heard the voice of the jinns. Find the stabbed woman. The murdered woman was connected to some bloody love story in Nina's family. I feel that your mom was madly in love with your father.
It was a great love.
She was insanely in love with him.
But I feel that your grandparents were against this relationship. Why?
Dad was much older than her. He was more than 15 years older.
When Nina's father met her mother, he had just gone through a divorce. At that time, he was already 32 years old. Her mother's parents did not approve of this relationship and forbade the couple to see each other.
I see that your mother went against her parents' will.
She ran away with him when she was 17.
Secretly from her parents, Kolya and Nina left for the town, where the man originally came from.
My grandparents searched for her for a long time, until she phoned and said she was there.
6 months later, the couple married without Nina's parents' consent. And in a year, they had a daughter.
Nina told us about her loving and happy parents. However, I saw a completely different picture. After the wedding, your father began to treat your mother differently. Her love seemed to irritate him. It's so horrible. I see him abusing her. He beat her brutally.
Yes, I remember how she suffered.
According to Nina, her mother told her that over time, her father turned into a real monster.
She was always covered in bruises.
How long were they together?
They spent 4 years together.
I was shocked by what I heard. Why didn't Nina's mother leave her tyrant husband earlier?
Your mother couldn't understand why her loving husband turned into a beast.
She didn't understand. She was still very young.
However, your father's brother tried to protect her more than once.
He was the man who was by her side and supported her.
He loved her madly.
Nina's mother hoped until the end that her beloved husband would change. But after another beating, she decided to run away. She came up with an escape plan. I see her packing a suitcase and getting on a train with you and her husband.
They were going to work somewhere, and she asked him to stop by her parents.
The couple was traveling with little Nina. The woman assured her husband that it was hard for their little daughter to travel by train for several days in a row, so she suggested resting at her parents' house.
When she arrived home, she begged Grandpa not to let her go, so she wouldn't have to go anywhere anymore. And they kicked him out.
I see that your father's brother visited your mother after her divorce.
He followed her everywhere.
He proposed to her, but your mother refused.
She said it wouldn't happen.
I hear her say, "Sorry, I will never love you because I still have feelings for your brother."
It's true. She loved him very much. My father, I don't know why she loved him.
I sense that Misha couldn't come to terms with the refusal of the woman he loved and took a desperate step.
The card of fratricide. He killed him, stabbed him in the heart.
14 stab wounds straight to the heart.
This is so horrible. Misha killed his own brother. And the worst part is that he did it right in front of the whole family, during a festive dinner.
Mom said he walked in casually, sat down at the table, and did it in front of everyone.
Did the murder happen after their conversation with your mother when she refused him?
Yes.
At the trial, Misha said he did it out of jealousy. For this, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Jana, my book did tell me about fratricide. Kabil and Habil. The terrible story of two brothers is somehow connected to what is happening in Nina's family, and also to the murdered woman who's hunting you. But who bound her to your family?
What was that?
I see Tutankhamun again.
Do you understand that this is dangerous? You must give him the answer he wants.
He says, "You will understand why this woman is doomed to die only when you help me." I had to do something. So I decided to perform the ritual.
Hayal Alekperov asks everyone to be quiet and pray to themselves. The room falls completely silent. What will the psychic's verdict be?
The spirit of the Pharaoh's wife is next to her killer, behind a wall painted with a flower, fire, and knives. I conveyed my vision to the Pharaoh's spirit. Feel, he will find her very soon. Tutankhamun will announce this with destruction.
Incredibly, what Hayal Alekperov said was confirmed later.
Zahi Hawass, a renowned archaeologist, announced that his team managed to find a probable entrance to the tomb of Ankhesenamon. It is located deep underground next to the tomb of Ai.
It turned out that a wall collapse occurred in the priest's tomb, behind which they found a room with a woman's mummy. The scientists suggest that this is Ankhesenamon, and they are conducting DNA tests to prove it.
Tutankhamun is grateful, and he says, "You will save this woman when you find the fabric with flowers, fire, and knives." What does he mean?
It's something ritualistic. It's magic. Flower, fire. I've seen this somewhere. Rubina used something similar in her rituals. Gypsy magic. It's a gypsy ritual. This ritual is generally performed for death.
Who performed it?
A woman did it.
The woman hated your mother.
Dad's mother.
Your grandma?
Yes.
Nina's grandmother believed that it was because of her daughter-in-law that one of her sons killed the other. As such, strong maternal pain pushed her to perform the deadly ritual. She couldn't come to terms with the broken lives of her children.
According to Nina, her grandmother often came to their home and threatened her mother.
She shouted, "Be cursed, all of you."
Your grandmother used magic to bind the spirit of the murdered woman to you.
This is the woman my jinns told me about this morning. It's all about the woman who was stabbed with a knife. She must kill. The spirit killed your mother, and you, Nina, were to be her next victim. Your and your loved ones' lives will be safe when we unbind the spirit of the murdered woman from you.
How do you do it?
This shell has been prayed over in holy places. It will give you and your family protection. And Jana and I will release the spirit bound to you later tonight.
Thank you so much.
If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more amazing investigations are coming up.